Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and Hakes has another auction that just went underway today, July 8th. As of the making of this video, these items all end on Wednesday, July 30th. And I was talking offline to my buddy and Patreon supporter Dominic, and he's like, I didn't really see much that I liked. And I was at the gym at the time, and I was like, I hadn't looked at it yet. I'll take a look. I don't know what Dominic is talking about. There are some seriously nice items in this auction. I guess it just depends on what you're looking for, but I don't know, man. I mean, I just pulled out a few items that this video is probably going to run long. I mean, there is a ton of very nice items. I also did receive an email from Alex Winter, the Galactic Emperor, over at Hakes, and he gave me their auction schedule, which he allowed me to share with you guys. So this is their premiere auction number 244, closes July 29th and 30th, depending on comic books and action figures. The action figures for Star Wars end on the 30th, and it's pretty incredible. These are not Jeff Jacobs items, okay? Not Jeff Jacobs items. The next Jeff Jacobs auction is going to be tentatively scheduled for October, but there are some very high-grade items in this auction, but they are not Jeff's. And the next collector-friendly auction will be in the fall, date to be determined. And then finally, the next premiere auction, auction number 245, will go online October 28th and close November 18th to 19th. And thank you, Alex Winter over at Hakes, for sharing the auction plan for Hakes moving forward. They usually do take off some time in the summer. This is kind of the last really big auction until apparently sometime September, October timeframe, with the next Jeff Jacobs auction scheduled for October. So there you go. But this is a pretty big auction. I mean, there are some incredible items in here. We're going to start off with the early bird certificate package, graded AFA 90. Very, very high grade on this one. At the time of cataloging, only 9 examples with an AFA 90 grade, with just 2 higher. This is the highest graded example that Hakes has ever offered. And it also comes with an archival newspaper clippings that show the early bird certificate advertising. So that's kind of cool. You know, if you wanted to kind of have that as part of it. But it shows the early bird certificate advertising from a newspaper clipping. That's really cool. First time I've ever seen those newspaper ads. So the starting bid on that one's $5,000. They always have a value code, which sometimes they're wrong, but most of the time they're right. They got the value code at 10 to 20. I think it's going to be towards the upper end of that range. But remember, if you bid on these, that there is an auction premium, you know, buyer's premium you got to pay. That is 18% if you do a wire transfer or pay by check. The buyer's premium drops to 15%. So just keep all that in mind. Here is the early bird mail-away kit. This one does include the double telescoping saber Luke Skywalker, and this one is an AFA 90. Unbelievable. Archival case, telescoping saber, AFA 90, straight 90s for the sub-score. That's pretty insane that someone still has this in 90 grade condition. It's just insane to me that these are able to be kept in such pristine condition. So, wow, unbelievable grade on that one as well. We have a number of different engineering pilots and first shot prototypes in this auction, which are very tough to find. The Luke Farm Boy is graded AFA 75+. This is an EP. Engineering pilot, and they got the value code at $2,000 to $5,000. The starting bid on that one is $1,000, so that's pretty cool. They have an engineering first shot prototype for Greedo. This one is a CAS 70 grade, and that'll probably stay below $2,000. I mean, I would be surprised if it gets anywhere near $2,000. I feel like the Cantina creatures and Greedo are very easy to find in first shot prototype format, and they're not very expensive. In a 70 grade CAS, I think you're probably going to be maybe $1,000 to $1,400. I bet it doesn't even hit $1,500. That's my guess on that one. So that one is still really cool, though. I mean, it's always nice to have any sort of first shot prototype. So no country of origin on the back of the leg for this one. Next up, this is the one I really would love to have. This is an engineering pilot for the Death Star droid. I've never seen one come up for sale before. It's only an AFA 30 as well, which is right down the middle in terms of my my price point. I couldn't afford an AFA 85 for a engineering pilot for the Death Star droid, but y'all know I love the Death Star droid. Verified to have originated from a Kenner employee with internal Kenner marks on bottom of the feet. This engineering pilot was used in the final stages of pre-production and is one of the rarest engineering pilots of this era. I've never seen one before, to be honest with you. It's really cool to see one. And it's only a 30 grade. They've got the value code at 2 to 5. Oh, man. If I wasn't on a buying hiatus, I would absolutely bid on that. That is really, really cool. This is another unique item I've never seen before. This is a Han Solo mock-up transparency from 1978. The card features the classic image of Harrison Ford as Han. The upper left bears number 38,000 stock number. Image has differences from the final production card. So this transparency has evenly aged and comes with custom acrylic stand. Aside from aging, it's in displays in excellent condition. So that's really cool. I've never seen one of these before either. So, they get the value code at 2 to 5. Again, I have no idea what that's worth. A lot of this stuff I've just never even seen before. There's a number of Guerra Stellare Harbert Italian 12-backs that are at auction. All very high-grade, beautiful items. Mi dispiace. Formaggi assortiti. AFA 85 for the C1P8 R2D2. The Italians just do it a little differently, man. They do it just a little bit differently. They talk with their hands. They eat with their hands. They do 7-course meals, and they call R2D2 C1P8. So that's my summary of Italy for you. That one is at $1,000 right now. Value code is 2 to 5. I didn't include all the Italians, but I've got the C3PO, D3BO, AFA 80. We've got Lord Darth Vader on the Guerra Stellare card back. That's a UKG 85%. Beautiful item there. And they've got a Tusken Raider as well. I mean, just really cool Italian cards. There's something about the Italian card that is just so awesome. It just looks so different than the standard Kenner cards that it really pops, man. I love those. Next up, this is a cool one I've never seen before. This one is a header card that says, get a free Boba Fett action figure when you buy any 4 Star Wars action figures mail-in offer. So it's got the first 20 figures there, and Boba Fett's there. So that's really cool there. I've never seen that before. Graded AFA 80+. Very rare. One of only 4 ever graded by AFA. Man, that's just a very unique header. There's one even more striking that I had never seen before coming up, but they got the value code at $20,000 to $35,000. Unbelievable. So that's pretty unique. Next up, we've got a Boba Fett 21 back A AFA 85. It is a punched example with a price sticker, so that'll probably keep the price down just a smidge. But I mean, we're talking in big dollars here. This is going to go for between 10 and 20. I'm guessing at least 15. But it is punched with a price sticker. For those of you that don't want to spend 25, would rather spend 15, here you go. But that is still a beauty. Absolutely stunning condition. The blaster's still taped to the inside of the blister there as well. 80, 85, 85. So at the time of cataloging, only 9 examples in an AFA 85 grade, with just 1 higher. Here is that very rare Kenner Canada wind-up R2D2. This is an AFA 70. They still got the value code at 5 to 10, but this is just a really tough item to find. I've seen higher graded examples go for well above $10,000, but it is a buyer's market right now, a little bit anyway. I mean, for these kind of mid-grade items, it's probably a little bit more of a buyer's market. It's probably still a seller's market for the upper grades on those types of items. But I think that this would probably hold down maybe a little bit on the price. But value code of 5 to 10, I don't know if it's going to hit 10 in the current market environment. Maybe I'm wrong, but it is rare and it is really cool. But it's a very unique buyer that wants something like this. It's a, Takara wind-up. It's a Japanese wind-up figure, but it was a Canadian issue. So you can see La Guerre des Étoiles and a very cool, very unique card back. So unpunched, no price sticker. But, the blister's got some issues that'll probably keep the price down just a smidge. Here's the other header that you got to take a look at. So this is a hanging mobile display, and I had never seen this one before, ever. This is the very first time I've seen this. So it's got the collect all 48 action figures, and it's really, advertising the new ESB characters. It's got Bespin in the background, and then it has Hoth in the background for the correct characters for those two locales. But look how unique this is. Have you ever seen this before? I have never seen it. And it's got the Death Star, and which I don't know why they have the Ugnaught and some of those on with the Death Star background, but still, it's very, very cool. And then you've got some Tatooine related characters there. The Death Star droid should be next to the Death Star. And some of these others, I don't know why, the IG-88 and Dengar, I guess you can kind of associate it with the Executor, Darth Vader's Star Destroyer, but the Ugnaught should absolutely be on Bespin. 21B Medical Droid, that really should be with Hoth, in my opinion. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I just think it's a very cool mobile display that I had never seen before. It looks like it's it's a three-sided, so it shows all three sides as well. Man, how unique is that? Very cool. So, I don't think, is it graded? I don't think this one's graded. No, this one is not graded, but, so it's not the cleanest condition, but I had never seen it before, so I'm sure that some crazy person is going to spend serious money on that one. It's already at $5,500, but how cool is that? Very neat. Next up, there's some more first shot prototypes. We've got another first shot prototype IG-88, no footholes on this one. AFA 85. This is from the Ross Pender Bounty Hunter collection. I thought he already got rid of one of these, but maybe it's another one. And then this one is alternate paint scheme, no footholes, first shot prototype AFA 75 plus. And let's see. It says alternate paint scheme. Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at the eyes on this IG-88. How crazy is that looking? That is very cool. Man, I would love to have this item. I really would. Maybe one day I'll win the lottery and buy something like this. But alternate paint scheme, no footholes. Man, that is so cool. Seeing an IG-88 with that many eyes. Wow. That is super neat. So that one is an AFA 75 plus. Those will all go for huge money. This is the really rare one. I had never seen an AFA 85 for the true debut card for Bosk, which is the 31 back A. And there's only a handful of these in all grades on the AFA population report. I forgot the total, but it's less than a handful. It might be in the description here. We'll take a look. But 31 back A is the true debut card for Bosk, and this is as rare as it gets. They've got the value code at 2 to 5, and maybe it does stay under 5 because nobody cares. None higher on the population report. They didn't have the total pop for all of them graded for the 31 back A, but let me tell you, this is rare. I've only seen one other graded one, and that was an AFA 60 that was on Facebook and available a number of different times. It never did sell. I think he was asking like $6,000 for it, somewhere in that ballpark. So I think the value code on this one is too low at 2 to 5. But, maybe no one cares. I don't know. But I just feel like with an AFA 85, it's going to attract, the buyers that want to have all the different card backs in the highest grade. And it's a clear blister. It's unpunched, no price sticker. It's got everything going for it. And I think that this is going to go for massive money. I would be shocked if this one doesn't hit $10,000. I really would. And if it doesn't hit $10,000, I think you got a great deal on it. But, you know, most people don't care about Bosk except for me and a few others like Tim. But that is a really rare item. I had never seen one before in such a high grade. Next up, we've got a 48 back C for Boba Fett. This one is an AFA 85, none higher in the pop. It is a punched example. The current bid on that one is $2,000. This was a very unique UKG custom. This one has a photo from, ESB where Boba Fett says he's no good to me dead. And it's got signed by Billy D. Williams as well as Jeremy Bulloch and Dave Prowse. So 2 of the 3 of them are no longer with us. And it's got the figures loose graded by UKG 85, 85, 90 for the Vader. That is cool. I like that. There's another one also for the Bosk and Boba Fett that's very similar setup to this. So that's also available in this auction. I don't know if I'd pay $700, but probably would. I mean, just for the autograph, to have all 3 of them signing the same autograph, that's very, very cool. Next up, we've got some proof cards. I didn't include all the proof cards, but there are a number of Revenge of the Jedi proof cards. The IG-88 is AFA 85 plus. That will go for over $2,000, I'm sure. But there's a number of other ones. I don't know why I picked IG-88 for this, but the 48 back transition card, Return of the Jedi AFA 80, punched example, clear blister. That's a good one to target. There's a lot of... I feel like the 48 back transition cards have come back down a little bit in price lately. There was an ungraded one for this particular character. That was not as... I don't think it was an AFA 80 grade condition, but it was ungraded. And it sold for cheap, like $250. And it was like a 75 or 75 plus. And I don't know why it went that cheap on eBay, but I feel like now's a good time to grab something like this in this auction. It's not an 85 or a 90 where most of the big boys, the whales, hang out. And they got the value code at $700 to $1,000. If you can get it in that range, I'd grab that in a heartbeat. That's a great deal. Beautiful card, though. I love that one. Next up, there's a Red Bar R5D4 mint on card, 77 back A, obviously yellowed blister, punched example, AFA 80. And that, at the time of grading, the blister was clear, but it has since yellowed, unfortunately. Highly coveted Red Bar. They got the value code at 2 to 5. I think it's going to go well over 2, but... maybe not. We'll see. I think that Red Bars have really held their value lately. So I think that one's going to go for a ton of money. Next up, we've got a number of Tri-Logos. I didn't include them all, but just really quickly, I wanted to show, for those of you that collect the Tri-Logos, there's an AFA 80, blonde-haired Luke Bespin Tri-Logo. There's the Leia Hoth graded AFA 85, very high grade there. The Jawa, we all know how expensive the Jawa can be. That one's an AFA 80. At the time of grading, 9 examples are graded AFA 80 with just 3 higher. That's a very tough one to get on the Tri-Logo card back. So bid away on that one. And then, of course, the Boba Fett's got the Spanish PBP figure inside, and this one's an AFA 80 plus. So we'll see if that one holds up relative to some of the other recent high-grade sales. We've seen some higher-grade examples. I believe there was one on eBay that CIB auctioned off that was an AFA 80 or 80, it might have been an 80, that sold around 15,000. So I would put this one in that value range. This one appears to be the German Parker card back. You can tell because it's got that thinner, longer hang tab, and the back has the brighter background. And then it has, obviously, the Spanish PBP figure inside. It does have the blister support as well. So that is a beautiful, beautiful Tri-Logo. Very rare, very high grade. And I would expect that one to go for a pretty penny. So there you go there. There is a first shot prototype for a Monomon graded AFA 85 plus. And the last 17s in first shot prototype format don't seem to command nearly the numbers that ESBs do. They do command more, I would say, than Return of the Jedi figures for the most part, but that's a very high-grade example, and that's going to go for a lot of money. Next up, there's a proof card for Klaatu. Matthew C., here you go, buddy. I hope you've been saving up. You might need to open up a home equity line on this one, but he loves the Jabba's Goons, and this one never appeared on the Power of the Force card, to my knowledge, but this is Klaatu in Skiff Guard disguise. proof card, it's going to go for a lot of money. AFA 85 on that one. So I think you can expect that one to go for 8 to 10 grand pretty easily. Next up is a first shot prototype unpainted A-Wing fighter. It is not signed. It is notarized by CIB. It's from the Gus Lopez collection. It was never actually graded, but it is an unpainted first shot prototype A-Wing fighter. Very, very cool to see that one. And then, you know, for those of you that like the Uzes, this is about as rare as it gets. This is the Headman. It's qualified grade because it does not include the shield or the sword, but this is the rarest of all of the Turkish Uze bootlegs, easily, and a very, very tough figure to find. AFA 70 grade, and again, it's qualified without the weapon or the shield. The shield and sword can go for 10 grand by themselves, so this is the cheapest portion of the Turkish Uze Headman, but that is a very cool item to see for sale. And again, you know, I didn't include everything, but I mean, there is a ton. This is page 2, and I mean, there's just a ton of items. And, you know, there is original comic art from the original Marvel run, and you can already see the prices are in the 5,000s for some of them, but you've got the covers for some of them, and you got individual pages, you've got posters, you got VHS tapes, you've got all kinds of good stuff, lots of loose graded figures, a ton of mint on cards that I didn't even go through. So if you've got money to spend, now's not a bad time to do it, because this auction has got a lot of nice stuff. And again, the auction ends on July 30th for the action figures, July 29th for the comics and the comic art. And happy bidding out there. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave me a like. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.